All right, we're on.
We are back.
Yes, perfect. Okay, it's been a while since we've been back. So, Eric, why don't you
A
fill
little bit
us?
of time.
Yeah, fill the people in about what's been going on.
Well, we here's a question for you right off the bat. Do you happen to know when our last podcast episode was?
I think the last one I posted was 20 winter of 2023. I think it was Emily James.
Okay, so that was a couple years ago.
Yeah, yeah,
Alrighty. Well, since then, you and I have both been up to a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I've recently started working again, which has been cool. Might withhold information at this point in time, but as of right now, it's been going really well.
yeah.
Everyone I work with is quite nice and quite great to deal with. And I got to wake up at like 6:30 every day, or I should say the days I work. But I like getting up early, and it's been quite a positive experience. I'm going into year two this August, so in my sophomore season. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm expecting good things, and that's on the work front. And then, how about you? How have things gone on the work front for you, Raiden, since our last episode?
Since our last episode, also a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yep.
I moved out to Ottawa and I worked at a sales job at a construction technology company for just under a year. And it was a great experience, challenging experience, and eventually, unfortunately, got laid off. And I was fortunate. I found a job 2 weeks in between, like,
In
yeah, kind
being
of
laid
just getting
off,
like
eh?
laid off. So I found a job and kind of similar job, but it was for a hospitality software
Like a
company.
tech.
Yeah, and yeah, it was kind of I don't know. It just wasn't the right fit for me, so I ended up quitting that job and I moved back to Calgary just to, I guess reassess about what I don't know what's next in life for me, and I've just been spending time with friends and family, and yeah, just I've been enjoying the Alberta summer.
I'm a big fan of that. I feel like when you're on the old train of life and you're not sure what the next stop is, um, I feel like there could be sometimes like what's the old word? Um, well, I was gonna say stigmatism.
Mm.
Um, I'm blanking here. When 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 you're like, there's like a weird vibe around a certain thing,
Yeah.
but it's really not that.
Stigma.
It, it's stigma. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's
you
a
were close with the
stigma
first
around.
one.
I was so close. I knew I had it. There's a stigma around people kind of taking a step back because or at least where I'm from and how I grew up, there's always this path that's you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta end up here, and sometimes that's just not for not it wasn't my speed at least, and I kind of had to take the scenic route to kind of figure out what I wanted to end up trying to do, and unfortunately, by a stroke of luck, I ended up in something that I like and enjoy. So, but yeah, um, how did you find your summer so far on the whole, Raiden?
Summer has been it's been good so far. It's been nice here. It's been a bit rainy at times. As we're recording this, there was a huge thunderstorm that passed my house, and now I think it's passing over Eric's house.
You can hear the thunder, and it's above us, I believe.
And yeah, I I guess. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. I'm gonna hang up on that for now. We'll see if the person calls me back or not.
All right.
But um, and I'm still here. I'm just thinking. Yeah,
Yeah.
summer has been good. I don't know. I feel like life has
Yeah.
been kind of topsy turvy, and it was kind of top. I feel like it's been. I feel like it hasn't not been topsy turvy for a long while.
Yeah, I can definitely relate. The topsy turviness of life isn't exactly a predictable thing either.
Yeah, I just feel like I kind of get on solid footing, and then it's not even life that kind of where the ground falls out underneath me. I feel like I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's me that I put myself in a position where the ground just it's like I get onto solid ground, and then I'm like, all right, I'm bored with this. Let's go find some shaky ground.
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes any sense.
it does. I can definitely um, kind of relate to that in the sense that like you get on a good roll and you're feeling good, and then stuff happens, life happens, and you're like, well, this is I'm gonna go back and do something that I'm trying not to do. And whether for me, whether it be, I don't know, for example, ordering food after I'd been cooking meals for a straight week, or you know that that's the first example that came to my head, or you're feeling really good and you're happy and you're positive and you got energy, and then sometimes it just gets zapped out of you and you just don't want to, sometimes don't want to do anything about it, which I think is a natural thing too.
Yeah, yeah, and
So
I was just
that's
gonna.
at least how I feel lately. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling good right now, currently, and positive and whatnot. It's yeah, I don't know. I've been looking at some quotes lately and trying to read a bit more, and I think that's been helping.
What are some quotes that have been speaking truth to you?
Well, I heard this one quote by Walt Whitman, and it's called "Be curious," or yeah, "Be curious, not judgmental." And that one hit home in terms of how I felt that, like, at least with my situation in particular, um, I don't know. I just feel comfortable when people are okay. Like, how do I say this? I feel like it's like judging a book by its cover, for example, is the quickest cliche I could think of. It's like, who knows what someone is going through on any given day, and what that person's life entails, and how they're able to handle it and whatnot. And I just feel like it also kind of goes back to what your parents tell you as a kid, like treat others how you want to be treated. And it's like, yeah, so I don't know. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I don't know exactly how it, pertains to affecting my life, but I've enjoyed that one, and it's made me think a lot more about how I treat people and how I want to be treated, more or less.
Mm.
And then I've been reading Fire and Blood still by George R. R. Martin.
Mm. Yeah.
So I'm on the Game of Thrones train still.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
which isn't necessarily motivationally inspiring. It's actually quite dark and grim, but I enjoy it all the same.
Nice. Yeah, I like the Game of
Yeah.
Thrones. Well, actually, maybe that's what I need to be reading right now. I'm looking for a book to that I'm excited about, so that I read it going to bed
Yeah.
instead of looking at my phone.
The old screens.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I do enjoy the old bedtime book. I don't, as you know, I don't flip the pages. I use audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
But for a while, I was reading Into the Wild, and I quite thoroughly enjoyed that one. Problem was, I get quite emotional, and it's like, no, okay, now I'm crying and I can't go to sleep.
With Into the Wild,
Yeah.
which part makes you cry?
Um, Mainly when when he's talking to that really old man, who he kind of lives with for a little bit in, I can't remember where he was, but it's quite deserty. And I think the old man had lost someone quite close to him, and Christopher McCandless, the main character, kind of filled like a hole in this old man's life, and he kind of started to view him as a son, and then he asks him to like stay, and McCandless is like, I got to complete the journey, and then the old that part, just some of the wording, and it makes me it's quite sad, but the whole story is really inspiring, but also quite sad.
Yeah, that's a anything with the father-son dynamic for me. It's a deep cut.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how I've been spending some of my spending the summer. Um, I guess we kind of went off track a little bit here,
Yeah,
but
in the
to bring it
conversation,
back,
but also in our podcast as well.
yeah, yeah. Um, let's bring it back. So, what did we have on the itinerary?
Well, I think this is a good segue. We were
Yeah,
going to talk about thoughts about what we want to do with the podcast now that we're giving it a second go.
yeah. The Rick and Raiden universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I know you had a couple thoughts. Um, do you want to break it down and then,
Uh, well, I think
or just kind of lead off?
I think my thoughts go to more of the problems that we faced in actually, I think, building momentum and gaining consistency with what we were doing
Yeah,
before. So it has, I think my thoughts had to do with more of how we can structure this in a way that incentivizes both of us to not let the ball drop, so to speak.
yeah. Proactive problem solving.
Yes, exactly. I guess some of the thoughts I have of what I want to do with it is I think try and I'm not sure. I think just use it to, I think, connect on a deeper level with you and the people that we bring on, and not so much think of it as like let's try and make this a business. Let's try and, how do we, how do we monetize this
Yeah,
from
money.
the maybe the 5 or 6 viewers that we have,
Yeah,
but more so using it as a format or a space to, I think, yeah, connect with the person I'm talking to, but also to, I think, reflect on what's going on in my life. Kind of almost using it as like a form of kind of art therapy, and using it as a space to, I don't know, just like a cathartic, therapeutic space to
and
reflect on what's
yeah,
going on.
yeah. I think that is a bang straight up good deal, good idea, because yeah, I feel very similar about the views on how to how to kind of express some of these inner thoughts in a healthy way and go about it when we talk to people and just open and be kind of honest and intimate at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's yeah, you know, because I think we were on a good roll. Our first kick at the can, and then like we were talking about earlier, life happens, and motivation is a fleeting thing sometimes. And but yeah, it's how do we conquer or learn from our missteps along the way and try to pave the path correctly this time.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Not even that there's a correct way to go about it. I shouldn't really frame it like that. But just in a way that works for us on a consistent level.
yeah, for sure. I think that last point there, something that works for us is key.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of dovetails into what, maybe one of the challenges that we had was, at least for, I found it kind of challenging, was balancing speaking about, I don't know, I feel like I'm a very private person, and I don't really like to share actually what's going on with me, or what's happening with the people on in my life. And so I found that actually really challenging, especially when there's like a kind of like an ongoing situation, or I'm put in a place where I have to be like, oh, okay, this and this. And there's like lots, because I think just in my how I view the world, a lot of it is run through a filter of my values, which I get from the people in my life, but like my friends and family, and what's going on with them and what they think about stuff. And I don't know, I found that really challenging, to take what I was thinking, but also to kind of anonymize the people in my life, because it felt kind of, I felt almost like, it's like, okay, I don't know, I just felt kind of, I found that was a challenging thing to navigate. What were your thoughts on that?
Um, my thoughts on it have been um, that it's kind of weird when, because like I'm quite open, I like to think, and I tend to also find that um, I might be a little too forthcoming sometimes. Like I like to be open about my situation, my life, my experiences, which can lead to um, which can lead to I don't know. It can sometimes put you in a tricky spot every once in a while. But at the same time, I think it's healthy to be like, here's what's actually happening with me, and here's how I like talking about it, and here's what I want to do about it. So yeah, I do understand your position. It's a bit of a double edged sword for me.
Yeah, I think double-edged sword is a good thing, because it's like you said, like I thought we were rolling really well. We had guests lined up, and it seemed like a lot of people were interested in what we were talking about and what we were doing, and I really like that part. And I like that, it feels good for when people are interested in what you're doing. I think that was like
Yeah.
a nice reward. But yeah, I don't know exactly, I don't know exactly the words for it, but yeah, that kind of, the flip side of that is
It's like a spotlight on you.
exactly, yeah, which, I don't know, I feel dialectic about it. It feels nice, but I also want to be, I also want to hide away and be like, no, don't look at me.
Lurk in the shadows.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do understand that, and it's one of those things that yeah, you're right, that if you will, work life balance. No, that's not really a good example. Kind of the lines between how much you should say and how much you shouldn't say. It can get blurry, and I get how that's difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's the
Um,
whole thing where it's like, okay, am I just thinking about this too much? And am I getting lost in my own head, and does it really matter? Most of the time, probably
lost,
no.
yeah, get lost in the sauce.
Lost in the sauce. That's a good, that's how I've been feeling lately, a bit lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I've been lost in the sauce a few times as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe we can talk about, yeah, so that was one of the challenges that we faced. And then the other one was, I think, kind of just like, yeah, mostly around motivation and discipline.
Yeah, yeah. And we have talked about like things we can do to improve on those areas,
Yeah.
um, which I think is important. But yeah, for me, the motivation side of things is tricky. And it's not necessarily that like I don't know, I don't have the energy or anything like that. For example, more so it's like a self esteem and like perception sort of thing.
Yeah,
Whereas like the
I found that a big barrier
yeah,
for me too. For me, do you want to share more on that?
well yeah, I don't know. It just made me it makes you second guess. It makes you think. It makes you look back. Um, I don't know if that's the case for every podcaster, but it I found it quite daunting to think about sometimes. But I not and whether that's valid or not is up for debate. But that's just how it made me feel. Which was yeah, like you said, a tough barrier. Like what were your thoughts on that?
My thoughts were, I think my perfectionism reared its head pretty good for me during the process because I think it reared its head in two ways. One, it would make me fearful to post stuff and actually put things out. And two, it would make me not want to dive in and learn the technical stuff. And I think for the listeners out there, Eric and I talked about it, and I think that is number one where both of us have the most challenges is the recording setup, the cameras,
Yeah,
and the technical part. We absolutely love recording ourselves and shooting the shit, and we love that part. But everything that you have to do to set up and process that to get it out there, oh man, we have a lot of we have our work cut out for us. So
yep,
yeah, so I think that part. So like I think my perfectionism got in my way where it's like, oh, like I think I'm not going to be able to do this, so I'm not going to try, and I'm going to one try and find someone else who can do that part and be that partner for us. And I thought that was good because it made me go out and find AJ, who was really helpful in us actually getting out there and getting us doing something and making something. But one, it's expensive, and two, it makes us not really flex that muscle and actually grow
yeah,
and learn that shit. Which, yeah, and I think that was like two big things that I had a challenge with, which yeah, I kind of have to, I think, overcome with it. It's yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I feel the same. And yeah, and shout out to AJ. He's been a very positive and instructful mentor whenever we see him.
100%.
And yeah, and I think you're right. Like we gotta be able to, take the initiative on some of this the tech stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say that we can't do it or anything like that. It's just gonna take a little bit of learning, a little bit of elbow grease. But there's nothing wrong with that. And it's just a matter of building up the energy and the courage to be like, I'm gonna tackle this and I'm gonna kill it. But yeah, I mean, those would be the two. That and the self consciousness thing would be the two big issues that I think I ran into.
Yeah. 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 I would say, yeah, that the self consciousness and the posting and like the perfectionism. Because for me, I like get super
Yeah.
into my head and I just live like, oh, okay, like I don't know, like oh, I don't know. I just think about
No,
it way
I
too
get
much,
it.
and then I call it eating myself. I feel like I eat myself so easily.
Yeah.
So then it's like it's kind of better just to like do it, get the conversation recorded, and boom, put it out there, than thinking about it too much.
Yeah. Like I totally agree. It's at this point, they say quality over quantity, but I do think at this point it's inverse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rather, because we're not not Roger Deakins filming. We're just trying to get our feet under us and kind of figure out
Yeah.
what works for us, like we said.
Sharpening the saw, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was definitely a challenge. Yeah, the technical part, oh man, definitely a challenge. Like even this, like setting, like ladies and gentlemen, I tried to call Eric on my iPhone and then record using the voice memo recording app, but it doesn't let you record while you're on the phone because I don't know, for some reason it doesn't. Probably, I would guess it actually can, but it's like some privacy thing that they don't let you do that.
The government's against us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Damn government. And so what I've done instead here is I've taken my laptop and Eric and I are talking through FaceTime audio on the laptop and I'm recording this with the voice memo on my iPhone. And we're just kind of opting out of video for the first little bit here. If you guys have any suggestions of super low tech, low expense, high ease of use apps for us to try out, we would be extremely interested. And yeah, that's that's kind of where we're at. So anyways, this was, so even just setting this up was a bit of an adventure, and I guess that's okay. I guess we're learning and we're rolling with the punches over here.
Yeah, that's kind of what we got life on the ropes. The old rope a dope. Just kind of
Yeah,
take our time with it.
Yeah, life punches you and then you got to punch back.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, I think that was a good job to you on the technical side for today. Good job.
Appreciate you.
And then, but I think we do have a lot of good ideas on moving forward on how we can, take the pod in a not necessarily different direction, just a new and improved direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think we're setting ourselves up for something that's more sustainable.
I think so too, which will be. I'm very much looking forward to it, and I'm bought in. I'm very, very optimistic and happy with my with the foreseeable future.
Yeah,
if you will.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe we could talk about kind of what we have planned for this month. The challenge that I brought up the other day.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think of that?
Can you give me a quick refresher?
Yeah, it was the post 100 things challenge.
Yes.
By the end of August, so that we really start to get in the swing of things.
I would agree. I think that's quite doable. first off. And second off, I think it's a good idea because what's the word? A litmus test.
Yep.
Because it kind of acts as like, all right, let's put our money where our mouth is, and see exactly how this first month will be get back into it.
Yeah, it's kind of like
so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a flex your creativity muscle challenge.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to not do that. So I think this will give us for me, I think it's actually terrifying and scary, but I also think it's kind of like doing like a jumping into ice cold water or something. Once you do it, it's fine.
Yeah, no, I like that plan. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be quite funny to see what we come up with. Not in terms of it's goofy or whatever, but I think I have some funny ideas that I'm gonna put to work. But I'll keep that on the down low for now.
Yeah.
You guys will have to wait.
Have you thought about where you're gonna post your stuff?
I think Instagram.
Instagram. Plug your Instagram. Where should people look for us?
Well, I think I'm going to do a separate Instagram, so I need to build an account first.
Oh, okay. Okay, so a TBD.
But I will have that in my future apps. I'll have that ready to go.
Yeah, I haven't decided. I talked with another friend about this, and this kind of goes back to privacy, and this whole thing is like, I don't know if I should, like, I don't know what I think about like posting as me as like Raiden versus like an anonymous or like a different brand kind of thing. I'm
not a bad idea.
I'm super. I don't know. I'm just like I'm unsure about which way I want to go. Like I feel like there's a lot of value into doing it under your own name, but then also you have the benefit of anonymity when you go the other way. And I don't know, I feel like you could take bigger risks but I don't know, but then I'm also just I don't know, I'm very flip-floppy in between on how I want to approach that.
Yeah. That's interesting because I haven't really thought about that, but it is a good point you raise. Now I'm gonna do some thinking tonight on that.
Yeah, I don't know if
because it is important to feel safe and comfortable if you are gonna do like the whole public facing.
Yeah.
But to have that anonymity, it's also quite valuable.
Yeah.
And it makes for a different kind of engagement, I would say.
Yeah, it's like a different relationship with the audience.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I don't know, I'm very, like I said, back and forth on it where I'm like, oh yeah, because I want to be me, I want to post as me, but then it's like, I don't know. I think I'm leaning more to just posting as me than I am as someone else. And then just kind of like swallowing the frog of just being like, yeah, I'm gonna take the risk and kind of we'll see where the chips lie after.
Where the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, where the cookie crumbles. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna think about that one.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily mind being public facing. But at the same time, I don't want to, get stalked.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good thing to think about and how we're going to approach this.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah. I heard Caitlin Clark.
Mm-hmm.
You know who that is?
Yep.
Her stalker just got sent to jail for fucking like 2 years.
Oh yeah. Well, that's probably
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's like
Celebrities get them all the time.
yeah. Yeah. Pauly D had a stalker. And then yeah, didn't like
From
Taylor
Jersey Shore?
Swift didn't Taylor Swift like stalker like break into her house and
So Taylor Swift has had a few, I know for sure. At one point, someone was tracking her flights to know how much carbon she emits.
I follow that guy on Twitter. Yeah, he has like an account for Taylor Swift and then Elon Musk. And then
Wild.
he'll I think he can't do it live anymore. He's got to wait. I think
I
it's a
think that's
24-hour delay.
because of her stalkers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the police were like, "Can you guys not do this? Because like, you're giving the stalkers like a live feed of like where she is."
That's yeah, that is you laugh like for me it's like I feel like I laugh about that and then it's just like oh no, that'd actually be kind of terrifying.
It would be. I mean, for sure. I would also think that she has the necessary like security team in place that she hopefully doesn't need to worry about it like a crazy amount.
Yeah.
But that would be freaky.
Yeah. That is kind of like an interesting thing. That actually, this kind of like maybe ties into like what we want to do with the podcast. I think, because I think that was one thing that Eric and I, you and I were talking about the other day was we felt kind of like, so this, ladies and gentlemen, this challenge that we're doing is Eric posts something separately, 100 things by the end of August, and then I post something separately, 100 things by the end of August. And that lets us, one, kind of develop and flex our creative muscles a little bit and build up, some, I call it maybe like creative endurance or our cardio. But it also lets us be able to go down rabbit holes or interests that maybe we don't share together, but that one of us wants to go down. Because I think that was one of the challenges that we were talking about the other day was like,
Yeah.
for me, when we had someone kind of with a finance background, I wanted to go really deep into that with that person. And Eric's not as interested in that, so it ended up with, when we had the guest on, me and the guest talking more about it and Eric speaking less. And then on the flip side of that, when someone was talking about sport or hockey, for example, Eric and that person and that guest, they would be able to talk about that forever, and then I wouldn't really have anything to add to that because that's not a super passion of mine. So I think one thing that's kind of what I'm excited about kind of with this project as well too is being able to pursue some things that I don't know. I feel like, for me at least, I feel like, oh yeah, some interests that I want to dive down. That's one of the interests, like this kind of like technology and privacy, kind of related things. There's like a lot of these like privacy tools I've been looking into more. So I'd be interested to go down that rabbit hole. But even like, I'd be curious like to get maybe like a lawyer on like what does it mean to have a stalker and like what rights do you have to protect yourself against a stalker? And I don't know, maybe we could even like go into like a whole I actually think like protecting yourself online and your online identity is maybe an interesting path or like subject to go down, because I think as I'm getting older I'm just like, wow, like so much of my life is online and it blurs like professional and personal and everywhere in between. And it's like, okay, like how do I, and it's like, and then I don't know, I always see like these like, you see like these like stalker things with the guy with like the tracking you on the tweets, or it's like, or like, you hear about like the doxing and all this crazy, and then even like just like the amount of surveillance that occurs. I don't know. It drives me a little crazy sometimes. So I feel like it'd be interesting to talk about a little bit more.
Yeah, that'll be something we can definitely. You know, it'd be really cool to have a lawyer on and just kind of talk about the legality behind. Well, I mean, behind anything that we could really think of.
Yeah, I think so as well too. I think law is interesting. It's kind of I don't know. It's kind of like a fuzzy topic for me
Yeah,
because it feels like they. I feel like for when it comes to law, it's like it kind of like there's like these laws that are kind of there supposedly, but they only really matter when someone
in this
goes
one,
out of
that's
their
what
way
I'm
to
saying.
enforce them.
Yeah,
And then, but most of the times it's like, all right, let's we'll figure this out. But then there's like these moments where it's like, okay, like let's bring this system into place. I don't know. I don't know. It's very, I don't know how to describe it. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about, how would you describe your relationship with the law, Eric?
oh, geez. That's a good question.
Yeah,
um,
I haven't even thought about it too much. I don't think about that much.
well,
Which I don't know
fortunately,
if
we're
that's a
not
good
running
thing or
into
a
the
bad
law
thing.
very often.
Sorry, I was talking over you. What'd you say?
Sorry, I was saying, fortunately, we don't really run into any trouble with the law.
Yeah, like knock wood.
Yeah, seriously, I don't. Hopefully, I don't
Yeah,
get arrested tonight for anything.
yeah. But I guess yeah, maybe that'd be kind of like a fun. Yeah, that'd be like a fun thing to go. We could interview a lawyer and be like, all right, what are our rights?
Yeah. What can we do and what can we not do?
Yeah, yeah,
Say I go apeshit in a Walmart.
yeah,
Yeah. Eddie, a good friend of ours is in law school right now.
yeah.
Um, so, yeah, he could be someone I could ask to talk to about some legal stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny talking with lawyers as well too because I don't I don't know how to describe it, but they're just like very I don't know. They have like a certain way of talking. Like if you talk to a lawyer and you're in a social setting, then they'll talk like a normal person. But then I find that sometimes when you go and you talk to a lawyer about the law or about yeah, when you start talking about the law and then like how it's applied, I don't know, they start speaking kind of funny about it. I don't know, they get very serious, but then also I don't know, it's hard to get like a layman kind of definition out of them. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's the case. But at least that's my personal experience with it.
Yeah, it's yeah, gotta do thinking about that one as well.
Yeah. So, anyways, those are a couple of things. Yeah. What are some subjects that you think you might want to dive into a little bit deeper?
Well, maybe some things I'd like to learn. Um, are maybe things that I'll do two-parter. Things I'd like to do and learn would be more about finance, kind of government politics. I think those are two very like I do enjoy politics quite a lot. Um, I would say I have the most learned opinion, um, but I do find it fascinating. So that would be something I'd like to learn and talk more about. Um, like I said, finance and the market and kind of how it all works and how on a macro level, I
Mm-hmm.
think would be cool. And then things that I'd like to dive deep into probably be sports, TV, movies, and music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be my niche of knowledge there. I know a little bit about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Nice. Yeah, I'm. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool to get to. Yeah, I think we talked about that too, where it's like each of us goes and kind of pursues a passion, and then on the podcast, we bring someone, and then we kind of teach the other person about what we learned.
yeah, I think that's the play.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well,
Well, what do you say?
I'd say that for the people at home, Two White Guys in a Wheelchair is back, and
That we are.
Eric, keep your eye out on our socials for 100 posts by the end of August. If you don't hear it, if you don't know about it from here, you'll hear about it from there. So, yep, we're excited, and I'm excited about giving this another shot, and yeah, doing it with a little bit more.
A little more zest.
A little bit more zest, a little bit more je ne sais quoi, a little bit more,
Yeah.
I think, focus, and now with a little bit more
Some
experience under our
mojo.
belt as well.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Signing off.
Bye-bye.